time here on the Timcast. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a live streamer. I do a show called America First on cozy.tv.
All right. And of
He's
course,
a
Milo,
Nazi.
you were here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I'm your best ever guest.
So we've been told that the episode with you was one of the best podcasts ever. People really enjoyed hearing you speak.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks. I was wondering how I was going to make it even more extraordinary the second time I visited, but I think I might have pulled it off.
Luke's here.
Total Sausage Fest tonight. Welcome. My name is Luke Radowski of wearechange.org. Today I'm wearing my Didn't Epstein Himself t-shirt, which you could get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And I think we should be using that word a little bit more, just like, this YouTube channel didn't Epstein itself. And if this YouTube channel is Epsteined, we will be streaming on Twitter. So yeah, I started a t-shirt company after YouTube demonetized me. So the best political shirts.
Joby Wan, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Chaos1391, thank you for the 5 get the subs.
And of course,
I'm gonna
Serge.
fucking lose it.
Pleasure, guys.
All right. And I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is
where's
from
Kanye?
today, 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of course, is related to a dinner that happened, and I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Ye, you were there. I just want to start off by how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign. And after I put up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled, like Alex Jones, I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me. And here we are.
So that's how you guys got in contact.
Yeah, originally, and then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous extra brain firepower that he is. Most extraordinarily brilliant political commentator of his generation, and he's been treated just about as badly as anybody. So I thought he deserved to be in the room too, and yeah, that's pretty much how we got together.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner, and what happened?
Well, he was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno pick us up from the airport. And there was a lot of back and forth. There's another gentleman named Jamar Montgomery that was with us. He's an engineer at Boeing, and
I'm telling him we should raise everyone's volume.
Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is like Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This
Baby
is
F.
something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
Elaborate. What do you mean? You mean?
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, like the documentary that Kyrie posted. And in general, America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you said debanked or what did you say happened to you? Or
Demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening. And now we can really understand. We can see that Ron Emanuel was right next to Obama.
Bro, he didn't know
and then
the
Jared
word
Kushner
demonetized,
was
dude.
right next to Trump. Da-da.
But so we're getting right into it, I guess.
They're
right?
at
I was hoping to go for
60,000.
the news.
They're at 60,000 viewers, which is kind of low. I'm gonna be honest. Fell off.
I think the issue is one way to put it is you're expounding upon a localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify. There are a handful of people that you see are Jewish in a certain place, and then you associate Judaism.
It'll probably
with
rank
the
up to
power
like 100K.
Whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like
Surprisingly
yeah, you're
low.
substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of black people.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's the basis of the hypocrisy that people have been thinking about and knowing about and realizing for decades. We were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering, what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why can people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture, well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it. And now the dam is broken.
so let me tell you my issue. I don't like identitarianism. You guys are familiar with what that is?
Well, they started it, and they've been visiting
Sure,
on
I-
us.
Yeah,
We're
unless
not-
it's white
About
identitarianism.
running for president, you immediately said, well, you'd be good for the black vote. And I said, is that because I'm black? No, not just because of that. So is that, are you doing the same thing?
I didn't say that was the only reason. I said it was because you're
Wow, he's so good. He's so Tim Pool
you
esteemed.
probably would do well
Brilliant.
with the black vote. Absolutely.
No, he wouldn't.
Because I'm black, because I'm
No, he didn't. You're a fucking idiot.
I think race plays a role in a lot of things. Absolutely. And I think that for
I think the construct of race has really been forced upon us as just something for us to be woke about and just constantly talk about and use it as these like walls.
couldn't you say the same thing about Judaism?
Well, let's look at the facts of what I'm saying, though. If you say in this neighborhood where they gerrymander, there's this amount of time. So, hey, I wasn't doing that. I was just gerrymandering the lawyers and the Hollywood executives and the people at the bank that debanked me and then froze my accounts. It's like we want to jump into protecting the idea that we can't put a net around something, right? But that's been my job as a producer to take
Debanked.
Roy Ayers sample and put a James Brown drum and put it within a 2-minute, 3-minute song. That's the way I actually think, and that's the way I talk. And now this morning I found out that they were trying to put me in prison because what they did was
What?
I moved $140 million into JP Morgan. And I said, I want to talk to Jamie Dimon. Like, look at me. I'm just going in naive, multi-billionaire. Like, maybe Jamie Dimon will let me in on some deal flow. Wrong. And I'm just like banging my hands like, I want to meet with Jamie. And I start complaining online. And then they debank me for complaining. And so I'm about to get debanked. They're like, you need to go to Trump's, the bank, AXO, whatever, you got to go. And I'm like, I've been trying to buy my own bank for the longest. And then we figured out how to get my own bank. It's like 50 million, 75 million. So I'm about to buy my own bank. But then as they're about to take the money out, here comes Adidas with a $275 million bill for marketing funds that they agreed upon. Because I said to them, hey, I'm the marketing, give me the marketing fund, which proves by the response they got when they stole the designs and said, we're going to not call them Yeezys anymore. So this is what I was already fighting Adidas for. So I'm fighting Gap, get out of Gap, fighting Adidas. And then I deal with this little bit of noise from, Zionism from the fashion world where they use this plant named Gabby, who's obviously like some kind of CIA agent, knows nothing about fashion. This is a certain thing. When someone can't dress, you know that they're not like a fashion person. They're just there as like the society, like the control that they try to use with celebrities, which has now been broken, right? Because where it broke. Okay. I want to get on like LeBron in a second, but I'm gonna come back to this and just talk about this morning where, I'm not going to mention her name because she's a nice lady, but someone at Cohen Resnick tells me, and I tell all of my finance people, never use the term a lot, but they said, okay, you're going to have to pay a lot of taxes. And that made me feel like they're just like waiting, like we finally got him. We finally can put him in jail. And I was like, can I still run for president in jail? I found out I could. So I was like, okay, that's fine then. It'll be okay.
But if you were Jeffrey Epstein, they wouldn't touch your bank account. They would allow you to break the rules, regulations, just like J.P. Morgan and Chase did, just like Deutsche Bank did. So there is an issue to bring up with that. But when it comes to the race stuff, I think this is an important discussion to have because
I hate that the stupidest guy on the podcast is talking about Jeffrey Epstein, which is a very serious issue.
They were trying to put me in prison this morning. Watch this. So
This morning.
yes. So
What is he saying?
Not come to my house this morning, but I found out. Okay, so they put a $75 million hold on 4 of my accounts, and then they said
There is a guy who ran from prison, by the way.
6 hours to find out how much a lot was. They said, well, around.
Of course,
50
his political opinions were on the exact opposite side of everyone at that table.
Like, okay, so would this be tax evasion? Because I'm obviously not the most financially literate person on the planet. I was just a child, basically. Like when you become famous, you stop growing at that point. I became famous at age 24 and I had handlers around. I had my mom around, different things. And it was always like you go from one handler to the next handler to the next handler. So now I get to actually learn how to run a company. I get to learn how to count. Really, I was like Pablo in a movie. It was like I didn't even know where to put the money, like literally making $300 million cash, but you're just like a high-priced, we're not going to use the S word just because it's just like too passe to use it. But it's like next year I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties. And like no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor. We won't say what race. And they'd be tearing down the contracts. It's all about, position. It's not about the amount of money that you have. And, to come in here, I feel like it's a setup to be like defending. I'm not going to go through I'm literally going to walk the F off the show if I'm sitting up here having a, talk about you can't say that it was Jewish people that did it when every sensible person knows that. I mean, Jon Stewart knows what happened to me and they took it too far. It was like American History X. Like my head was on the side of the curve and the exact people that I called out kicked my head. We found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
This part is not wrong. He's not wrong. His trainer is a weird guy.
In the Canadian
Everything else he said is insane, but his trainer, weird guy. I told you guys this already.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, look,
he's not chat. He's fucking crazy, but he's not wrong about that.
They diagnosed me, and they when I asked them how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly, it took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean,
I don't know about the MK Ultra thing. I don't know about the MK Ultra connection. I've heard this as well. I've heard the MK Ultra connection as well, but Harley Pasternak is fucking crazy.
But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now. Yeah. You can see there's not much of her left.
You mentioned Pasternak was the name?
Yes, Harley Pasternak. That's the text message that he posted that we were talking about before.
That's
the lobotomy thread.
Yeah.
Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, you shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic, they're white supremacists, they're racist. I do find it funny or weird or whatever that, Nick, they call you a white supremacist, you're here working with...
Yes, Harley, dude, yes, his trainer is Jewish, but that doesn't mean anything. Shut the fuck up. His trainer being Jewish has nothing to do with the situation. His trainer is weird, though.
Them. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week, and we have an opportunity to sit down and talk.
Because the red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Ron Emanuel was next to Obama. But see, since 1940, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating.
I'm going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation. When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion.
But I
get
that.
I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people.
Did Tim Pool just
those
say
are bots?
Nick can't be racist because he's friends with Kanye? Is that what he said?
He sold Trump out. You get what I'm saying? It's like I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, he's a liar, it's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat. And all of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for your people online, but it's you got a person in real life that I'm not with it, bro. I lost the money for the freedom of speech, and that's what makes me the only American that we know that really deserves to run the country, because everyone else, your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in a petri dish over on the Democrat side is going to play the game.
Look,
and
here's what I was trying to get to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it.
But
I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion I had. Like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? Like I told
minister.
Yeah, the minister. Like I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I mean the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. So
what?
Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could, I'm sorry, sometimes I think about 7 thoughts at one time, because anything I see, I come up with like 7 answers to it and then just choose what it is. But the thing is, when I said my children, the reason why my brain kind of blocked, because it's like God is saying, your children are going to be okay. Baby mama's got money, right? God is using me. He's breaking me down, removing all of the, richest person, all of this, so I can serve him. And the more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be able to be used. And right now it's like, you're not going to take, if we can't, you're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say, it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what because every time I'm just holding stride.
Who tried to lock him up?
And it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost. But I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is, can we?
Press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then think we're not going to have a conversation?
Have the discussion.
Like you think he's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider, so I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Go, make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say I'm surprised. What do I even do? other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
I really wanted to ask Nick about his thoughts about MLK, because I know they contradict his comments about that. But again, these are mass generalizations that don't really help anyone in my perspective. They just
why?
sound
It's now just the Nazi. Now the interview is just the Nazi and Tim Pool.
White men are responsible for everything. When I see people just use generalizations, it kind of cheapens the conversations. It cheapens a dialogue that we could have here that I was planning to talk to Ye about, specifically bringing up like, hey, let's actually talk about this in a real concise way. Let's not get emotional. Let's not walk out of here. Let's actually
let me tell
ourselves.
all you guys outright. I said, this is going to be a big issue. Before the show, obviously, people are going to bring up the questions of anti-Semitism. Why don't we talk about the news? I want to hear what happened with this meeting. I want to understand what Ye 24 is. And then we can do a longer conversation about any of that stuff. And Ye literally in the first 5 minutes says, no, I want to talk about a group of people and point to them. Whatever, man. You want to know why? Look, you're not going to sit here.
88,000 people now know Nick Fuentes is just Kanye West's friend.
Literally, I said a couple sentences.
Still not addressing that he's a fucking Nazi. Very weird.
Man. He seriously can't handle. He can't handle it.
It's been 23 minutes.
Pierce Morgan interview he did, but he came back. So again, we should be able to have this conversation. What's up, Chris?
He wants his phone.
Oh, yeah.
Look, man, I wanted to talk to these guys about why they're meeting with Trump.
Chris.
I want to know what happened with the dinner, because we hear a lot of rumors about it.
I want to hear about their
And that's
2024 platform, which they were promising, which they were talking about, like they're going to be officially.
Let me explain to everybody. Unfortunate they walked out. Fine, maybe they'll come back. Whatever. This is the biggest challenge with dealing with identitarianism. I do not believe that the predeterminate factor in someone's worth, value, or agenda is based on immutable characteristics. Kanye is a black man. He does not represent all black people. There are Jewish individuals who work in banks. Dave Chappelle made the joke about Jewish people in Hollywood. And he said, but it doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of black people in Ferguson, doesn't mean they run the place. The point is, I'm all about individualism, meritocracy, personal responsibility.
Now
That
he's just
means
using this as an
individual with
opportunity
any
to promote
background
himself. That's all he's doing.
More importantly, we have
Big
employees
W
here
for
who
Tim.
are
I hate to admit.
Jewish who spend time in Israel and would
He's just
probably
making himself
agree
look like the sane
with a lot of
person
issues
here.
that they would talk about.
Still has not
Like, those are
addressed
things
that
to America
the
first.
fucking dude is a Nazi.
Bringing
He's
jobs
just
back
sitting
here,
across
securing
from a
our
Nazi
borders.
dude.
But then it's just like
Very
every step of
weird.
the way, it's like, bro, if you live in a world where a single group of people is haunting you, you're trapped. You're not going to get out. The issue is you can overcome anything. I understand, and I empathize that there are powerful business interests that are coming at Kanye. And I will
Nick
say
left too?
because I wanted to get into the Trump stuff. When Kanye mentioned he got suspended on Twitter, then he gets word that Milo wants to meet up with him. Then Milo puts him in touch with Fuentes. My immediate, question is, okay, my thought to myself, we really want to know about the inner details of this Trump meeting. I guess it's not going to happen. My question then is, don't you think that, if Kanye is going to say these things and then immediately start getting involved with Fuentes, that only amplifies the accusations made against him. But I guess if they genuinely believe these things, that's who they are.
I was dying to interrupt. I was dying to say a whole bunch of stuff during his, his conversation. I respectively, didn't. I was waiting to counter back, but we didn't even push back at all. Really, we didn't even really say anything crazy out there. I mean, come on. Like we should at least have the tough conversations. We should debate these ideas.
What does he think's going on?
And I don't know, but I just wish people were again like, hey, you don't agree with me 100%. That's fine.
No, he's still growing.
That's okay.
People
I'm
still
not gonna
think he's
run
in
away.
there. He's 25 minutes in.
Let's have this discussion.
Apologize, Tim. Tim. Get him back. People are fucking mad. They're like still joining now because they think he's still on the podcast.
A lot of the things that Ye was warning about, specifically with people trying to drug him, specifically with people trying to, of course, get him on big pharma medicines. He was, again, sent to, he was institutionalized a couple years ago, specifically on November 21st, 2016. He's pointing a lot of this blame on this Harley Pasternak guy who, again, he's the one who's training Lizzo, Elliot Page. He was training Brittany Murphy. He trained a lot of controversial figures, and he is connected to Canadian military psyops. That's we should know what else is happening behind the snes there, what else he knows. But
Before the show,
we can't even get that.
Before the show, Ye was like,
Now they're just like licking their wounds. Dude, learn to shut up and let people talk. Let Kanye run his mouth. The people ruining him are the ones who are his enemies. I don't even care about fucking Kanye West saying some dumb shit on the podcast. I cannot comprehend that, like, I cannot comprehend how he just had Nick Fuentes there. And, like, the only thing he said about Nick Fuentes was Nick can't be a Nazi because he's friends with Kanye West. That is fucking absolutely mind-boggling. Like, what is happening right now?
But I do think that he would do. I do think he would do better with the black vote, simply because there's people who look up to him because they can see themselves in him.
It's bullshit. That's
Now,
stupid. No, he wouldn't.
Let me elaborate.
No,
That's
he wouldn't. Assuming that Kanye West would do well with the black vote is just as stupid as thinking that Donald Trump would win fucking 50 states. Okay, which goes to show time and time again that this motherfucker has no knowledge of politics whatsoever.
And you're not white, but all you ever see on billboards and all you ever see on TV is white people. That means something. That has an effect on you. And that's basically what I'm getting to. All I can really say is this.
Not 50, 49 state landslide.
Bro, if I can't ask you questions calmly, like, hey, but don't you think this is like localizing? He could have been like, I don't, I genuinely view it this way. And I'd have said, well, okay, I can only ask you the question. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe. But dude, like, what did I ask him? Like 3 questions about it? And he just got up and left. Like, he's going to come here and just talk and be uninterrupted. Before we started the show, he said, hey, we're doing this show. Why don't we do it every week? Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? Is because you can't get on any other shows? I'm sorry, bro. This is not a show where you come in and talk by yourself and say whatever you want and say things that are that warrant questioning at the very least.
At least for clarification.
Yeah, I mean, everything should be
exactly.
questioned. Everything should be debated. Everything should be, talked about. We shouldn't stray away from uncomfortable situations. We decide to take things head on. Like, we have our particular viewpoints. They have theirs. It's obviously there's a difference. Obviously, we believe in different things. Let's see which idea is better. Right. Let's see which idea wins out in the public sphere. Let's actually have that conversation. And it's kind of sad that we can't.
Well, I think it's funny that like we got people in super chats who are like, why didn't you just let him keep talking and keep talking?
But that's not how the show works. We cut each other off all the time. I just cut you off right now.
I know.
Right? This is the way we do the show.
Guys, I'm sorry, man. I'm not here to do a show where we let one, like, look, we had Milo come on a couple weeks ago and he mostly just talked. And I think there's something interesting there. Milo had been banned for a really long time and hadn't spoken out in years.
5 years.
Ye's been on a whole bunch of podcasts.
Bro, why
So
are you
when
rehabbing these fucking people's images when, like, it's obvious that, like, they're toxic to even right-wingers because of the things that they say?
And I'm like, I don't want to chase after a dude who, like, he's in the news. Ye goes on Rogan before. He goes on Friedman. And then I'm like, that's cool. They got those conversations. Then we were told we would get Milo, Fuentes, and Ye at the same time, and we could talk about this big news, because that's what we do. We are a topical news show with guests. We are not Joe Rogan Experience. We're not guest interviews. And so with Milo, we had him on, and it turned into something different because the man's been out of the limelight for 5 years and came back and said Trump supporters want revenge. So here on this show, I don't know what to tell you, man. Ye doesn't have to do anything. He owes me no favors. He wanted to come on the show, but he didn't want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't disrespect him. We were nice to him. We hung out with him before the show. We tried to accommodate him to the best of our abilities, but he didn't want to entertain a conversation. I can't make him. He doesn't owe me that. He can leave. That's his thing. Appreciate him trying as best as he did. That's about it.
That's true. I mean, what else can you do, right? I mean,
look, let me tell you guys some stories, because I guess this is the show now. Welcome to the Monday night show. It was all hype and then all nothing. I don't like identitarianism. I've never been a fan of people who've blamed everyone else for their problems. I remember during Occupy Wall Street, you had people saying
Kanye
it was
left.
the 1%, that was the cause of their problems. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You got 1%ers here giving you money. You've got rich people down here supporting Occupy Wall Street, providing funding. You've got like George Soros money going into these nonprofits that are funding you to complain about rich people. The problem is varying agendas. The problem is varying ideologies. The problem is everyone fighting for power for what they want. In Ye's circumstance, they're coming after him. They're trying to take away his stuff. They're threatening him with institutionalization, and I understand all of that. It's unfortunate that he's internalized this problem to it is a specific ethnic and religious background that's doing it. And I'm like, bro, it's specific people doing it to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. We can read super chats.
Well, I think super chats would be interesting to spur on this conversation. But
we made it 27 minutes, and YouTube didn't take it down. Ye just got up and left.
Yeah, people don't understand. We took a big risk tonight.
Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I had
A dialogue that we could have here.
In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like,
When I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost. But I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
This is the moment where Kanye West leaves. He's like, they
Picking
tried.
up the
They
torch.
tried to fucking
was
put me
the
in
I
jail.
think they've been extremely unfair to you. I think.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press.
Which is a
I'm not using-
goddamn shame.
I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking
It is
about
them, though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think
Immediately, Nick comes in, salivating, horny to just be like, they, the
Reese
Jews,
Sawyer,
okay?
The prime Connor.
about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
Reese beat on.
He got
Yeah,
fucking
I
mad
talked about Balenciaga
that like
2 days in a
he
row.
at this point it's like
Reese's
he's
big
just
beef.
upset that he's upset when someone automatically doesn't agree with like anti-Semitic rhetoric. He's just like, I'm leaving. You didn't say they are the Jews and they control the media. I'm out. That's crazy. Like that's actually crazy. I mean, he's upset Tim won't let him do anti-Semitism. Like the thing about Tim Pool is that he will let you do anti-Semitism. He will have you on if you're just like, you know, lightly doing anti-Semitism. That's the thing. But Kanye's like, no, you have to literally fucking like let me say Jews.
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up, and then
Have
think
the
we're not going
discussion.
to have a
Like,
conversation.
have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say,
Like all he needed to do was just ask questions. Okay, is he back?
Sometimes it just
No.
takes people, and it's
Dude.
probably a good lesson. It takes a minute to calm down, then you can come back after.
he
you kinda
needs
gather
to
yourself.
explain what he means.
Right.
He
And
can't just say it's true, and I'm like, what do you mean by that? Who are you referring to? No, I'm done. I'm leaving. It's
Right.
like, okay, then I assume you have nothing behind what you're saying.
Right. You
And
asked-
and I'll tell you what else too, because early on he said like, how do I win? I said ballot harvesting. But I gotta say, man, if this like, why would someone vote for this?
right. That's what's already been mentioned in the super chats as well.
Yeah. Someone actually said, why would I vote for a guy who's going to act this way?
Or like trust nuclear codes or something. I haven't read it actually.
Hannah Claire's here.
Hey, how's it going?
Like this one or
Go over
I'm
there.
gonna be Kanye.
This is cool. So
It's yay.
it's Ye.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, did I just dead name him?
Mary's here.
Yes.
That's rough, man.
So what happened? Tell me what's going on outside.
So Kanye and Milo are
Yay.
Yay.
He is gonna beat me up. So Milo and Nick and Ye are
They all just
departing.
caught a car.
They caught a
and
car.
left.
They're heading out.
But
They don't seem angry, but they just Kanye specifically said that he felt as though he should have been able to keep talking. He feels like not enough people are expressing this view, and he felt like, sorry, I just ran upstairs. I can't talk. He felt like perhaps cutting him off was not a good move. So
Milo felt like you were obstinately not getting the point that everyone in the room was getting.
They weren't explaining it.
I think that they should have stayed to explain it.
I wish they had been able to
think
say explain it
before
because
the show when I said, guys, I understand you want to talk about that. We have an opportunity to discuss this big news. Can we talk about the news before we, and then we'll focus on what Ye 24 is and what you want to do. But I think this is the problem with grievance politics. Instead of being like, here's my plan for America, it's they're the problem. They're the ones doing this. Who? How dare you? Bro, tell me what your plan is. Tell me what you want to accomplish. Tell me exactly what your plan is, other than they're harming me and they're bad people, and I refuse to sit and listen to anyone who would say otherwise.
Yeah, I think one of the major challenges about Timcast as a format show is that it's not an interview. It's this thing that I love about this program, which is like, you may be an expert in something, but what we really want is for you to come here and talk about the news with us, talk about current events.
Discuss.
And while, I think we were all really excited to hear more about like all three of these people's perspective on stuff. Like it's hard.
They can't help it.
It's not a monologue.
help it.
So
It's
I think
not that. It's like, hey guys, can we talk about the news before getting into how you feel behind it? Yeah,
Well, you guys
I
didn't even
understand.
really get into the dinner.
because he jumps
The details of it
immediately
either.
into he wants to talk about Jews. And I'm like, are you kidding, dude? And I said, you want to go right into that? Fine, whatever. So be it.
Yeah.
But if dude can't handle a conversation about it, it's insane to me. Look,
I'm not
it's
sure
not,
what
it's
he was
reality.
referring to that happened this morning.
He said he
specifically,
found out
that-
they want to put him in jail.
But what exactly does that mean?
Well, it sounds like what he was saying was he found out this morning that they're saying he owes taxes, and that if he doesn't pay them, they're going to lock him up or something.
Okay.
And then the thing that he walked out on was you asked him to clarify who you meant by they specifically. That's pretty.
Oh, right, because I said
You were saying they as in the corporate media.
the
You said,
establishment.
I don't
Bro, let's be real. So Kanye West left. He left the building. Let's be fucking real, okay? If you can't even do a fucking broadcast because you're so up your own ass, if you can't even do a broadcast with like very obviously a right-wing person like Tim Pool, who unironically said that Donald Trump was going to win 49 states, okay? Like, if you can't go on that podcast, which is, I would say, to the right, like, I think to the right of Fox News didn't say Donald Trump's going to win 49 states, right? If you can't even go on that podcast, bro, you're fucking cooked. Like, you have lost your fucking mind completely. Like, even Fox News is not going to have Nick Fuentes on. Okay? Straight up. I don't think Fox News would have Nick Fuentes on without addressing that he's a Nazi. I'll say it. As it is currently, like, even Tucker Carlson would probably not have Nick Fuentes on. The only person I could think of that would have Nick Fuentes on the broadcast would be Tucker Carlson. And even then, I don't know if Tucker Carlson would have him on without addressing it. Like, he has gotten worse and worse over the course of the past couple of months. Tucker will have him on 100%. Yeah, right, dude. Tucker deleted the fucking Jews part of Kanye's conversation from his interview. What are you talking about? Tucker Carlson literally deleted specifically parts of Kanye West's interview where he talked about the Jews. I think a lot of you guys forget that Fox News is mainstream media. Okay? One of the main reasons why Tucker Carlson is an incredibly effective propagandist is because he doesn't go overboard. He toes that line perfectly. Okay? I think even Joe Rogan would probably say some stuff if he started talking about they and the Jews and all this stuff. Now, this is ultimately not a bad thing. Ultimately, this is not a bad thing because instead of having Nick Fuentes hide his power levels and like talk as though he was maybe not a Nazi or whatever, which he can't fucking stop himself from doing, by the way, they just kind of walked up and left. But notice how Nick Fuentes cannot stop himself from openly saying anti-Semitic shit. He can't stop himself. Like, it's the one thing you're not supposed to do, and you're fucking it up. The one thing you're not supposed to do is to be identified as a Nazi. And Nick Fuentes cannot stop himself. He puts on a fucking fat smile and just starts saying, you know who they are. Do you think that these people platforming Nick will backfire on them? No, these guys are on the internet, dog. This is entirely different. Tim Pool will not get punished for having like Nazis on. What are you, crazy? This is the internet. Let's be real. That shit's not happening anytime soon. Anyway. Here it is. Twitter is reinstating roughly 62,000 accounts that were suspended. One would each with more than 10,000 followers. One of the accounts.
I mean, this candidacy, Kanye's potential run for president is just.
The main broski, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Burden or a gift, thank you for the 10 gifted subs.
A stronger and stronger variable in this kind of dynamic. I mean, I know we speculated about if Kanye moves forward, what happens with DeSantis? Like, they really do control a lot of the narrative right now, and I think a lot of that is to Milo's credit.
I think to respond to my good conservative friends who are messaging me like, Tim, don't have these people on, they're bad people. No. I think you should all invite them on. Because I think if anything is bad for their ideas, it's exactly.
Bro, you have to fucking say that Nick Fuentes is a Nazi. What the fuck is going on, man? Kanye is assembling the Avengers of scaring the hoes. Yeah, it is. It's like the career suicide squad. Introducing Kanye West, the most divorced man alive. Nick Fuentes, Nazi virgin. Milo Yiannopoulos, Nazi who's currently pretending he's not gay. And Tim Pool, probable virgin, sings emo music with a conservative message.
Talking about, what it means for a potential campaign if they have one. And I'm like, this is cool stuff. This is going to be a good conversation. And then the first thing in 5 minutes, he's like, I want to talk about Jews.
I mean, do you think it's like
the first thing out the bat? I'm like, come on, really?
Was it on purpose?
Do you think it's that some people come into interviews knowing like
this motherfucker said maybe if you super chat about Fuentes being a Nazi, they'll address it. You think I'm gonna give Tim Pool money? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? Are you insane?
A figure with a target on your back, thinking like some journalist is gonna sit here.
You know, I could just DM him, right? Like he follows me. Like I could just do that if I wanted to. Or just fucking call him out on Twitter. He replies to me all the goddamn time.
Actually wants me to talk about.
I don't even think you were going to ask about that.
I didn't think you were either.
About what stuff?
About his views on Jewish power.
I told
you were going to
them
mainly
before,
ask about the candidacy.
News. I want to talk about
topical,
like our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I had a bunch of people say to me, Tim, you need to denounce them right off the bat. And I was like, oh, that's so tired. Like, bro, anybody who watches my show and who's honest knows that I don't care for identitarianism, racism, anti-Semitism. But Kanye West is one of the most influential guys on the planet. He's got people who genuinely love and respect him. And he's got a bunch of ideas pertaining to what it means to run for president, what he wants to do, and why he thinks he's the best. So I'm going to talk to him about that. And then I said, even before the show, I was like, who are we kidding, guys? I know this is going to come up, but, we'll talk about it. And they're like, we get it.
I got to pee. I'll be back.
Well, I think
in 5
it's
minutes.
like
they never even signed the portraits.
I think
Look
it's
at
kind
that.
of like when
Come on.
they're skipping protocol. It reminds me of the times that we've had Marjorie Taylor Greene on, right? Some people will hear that you're having her on and say, you can't do that. She's controversial. She does bad things. I don't like her. And ultimately, especially if you have some kind of tension against someone, hearing them out and getting their perspective is the best way to form your opinion accurately. And often, especially I've known with Marjorie Taylor Greene, we've had people be like, I just sort of wrote you off because of all the headlines about you. But getting to hear your side and getting to your perspective has really altered my view. Maybe it doesn't make you a fan. Maybe it does make you a fan.
Look, hold on. Like all the media that are like deplatform. It's like, was that not a good display of the depth of their ideology? None. Unable to withstand 5 minutes of questions. I wasn't mean. I did not insult him. We talked beforehand. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? I said, I don't use the word they the way you mean. I'm talking about like, and he just gets up and walks out.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to hear what I have to say about my ideas, but I have to sit here and listen to him. You know what I think, man? There's a reason why Ye is who he is. They say that celebrities, all of them, tend to have some degree of narcissism. They feel that they should be seen by everybody, and thus they end up putting themselves out more, which increases the likelihood of fame and notoriety. Yours truly included. I don't think I'm exempt for any of this stuff. I'm sitting here putting a camera on my face, talking to it all the time, and I talk a whole lot. But I think Ye is a guy who has risen to this position because he's assertive and because he's willing to do something like that.
Right.
Imagine you're talking to a guy who's got $1 billion shoe empire, and you know that if you say the wrong thing, he's out and you've lost everything. Yeah, he owns the conversation. He does. So that works for him in business.
Yeah.
Does not work for him in politics.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a single vote if you're just going to storm out and not do anything for anybody.
You know, there's a lot of things to kind of break down and talk about here. I have my own theories and assertions, and if you guys don't go along with it, I'm like, yeah, that's totally cool. That's totally fine. It's not the end of the day. But I think it's also fair to say that he's going through a tremendous amount of pressure, a lot of stress.
He's not coming back, little bro. He's not hearing your words about his $1 billion shoe empire, little bro.
I think there might be still, you know, I don't know.
By the way, this is why I said there's no fucking shot in hell that Kanye West would ever come on my stream when you guys were like, oh, well, would you have him on? It's like, there's no fucking way. He is not sitting across from a person who's going to be like, dude, that's crazy. Like, that's not happening.
So, you know.
Well, I don't want to discredit him with that, like the mental health stuff, because a lot of people have said that
I think it's worth discussing.
You can't listen to anything Ye says because he's mentally ill or he's off his meds. All of that stuff is just ad hominem. I think, you know,
I'm not
he's
saying
a
off his meds.
45-year-old man. He's extremely influential, powerful. He can make his own decisions, and I think that he made the wrong one tonight by walking out.
Absolutely.
How is his real life?
I'm just saying that this deserves
Your
also.
life is really weird, Tim. Today,
You guys are here too. Don't look at me.
It's weird for all of us.
we kind of.
I really wish that they had signed the portraits. It really hurts me, my perfectionist brain.
Well, what can you do? But it's not that they were off the meds; it's that they were forcefully put on the meds. And when you look at a lot of people that
Bro,
are,
I can't tell if they're the most white people I've ever seen or if like the studio is not well lit. And I say this as someone whose studio is not very well lit, but goddamn, it's like, it literally is like a flashbang. It's just crazy. Like
you know, going through a particular difficult before the show began, a difficult situation with the divorce and custody with children. So again, tremendous amount of pressure and stress. No excuses for anything. Hey, let's debate these conversations. Let's debate these ideas. Clearly, that didn't happen. Clearly, he wasn't ready.
Some
really
people are
wanted
saying the
his-
wait, feel like planned.
I feel like
him walking
they had a
out,
car
or
ready?
that you wanted him to walk out.
Did they have a car ready?
No.
They were in the truck.
They were waiting for.
No, they
someone
didn't have a
getting
car ready. I mean, I honestly, you know, as much as I want this conversation, I want it for the company and I want it for the audience. Like, I have a piece of, like, I have some respect for someone who's like, look, I'm done. Like, I think so often we are in a culture that demands people continue to talk all the time. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. I am just sad that we didn't get to hear what happened at Mar-a-Lago. I am sad that we didn't get to hear more of these perspectives because this is such an interesting trio of people. And it was worth hearing. It is worth knowing. Because all we can do now is speculate.
Imagine sitting down with Trump too, right? Trump, I don't.
I'm so mad. They're just butthurt. They're literally just butthurt about fucking Kanye leaving, and that's all they're talking about. I would have expected them to at least for a second and a half address like what beyond what just happened, but like talk about fucking, I don't know. Even if you're not gonna talk, I don't really give a shit about talking about Kanye's anti-Semitism at this point. Like, I think that's well established. But like, I want to hear about the motherfuckers. I want to hear about Nick Fuentes. I want to hear them call that shit out. Tim Pool has a insanely right-wing audience. Be like, hey, do you think Nick Fuentes is getting all this, like some of this anti-Semitic messaging from, or do you think Kanye West is getting some of this anti-Semitic messages from Nick Fuentes? Like, you have they're too busy calling them interested to call them out. Yeah, like, why are you fucking gassing them up? You have no reason to fucking defend Nick Fuentes. You have, and every moment that you're not fucking talking about Nick Fuentes is a moment that you're kind of defending him. Like, you had him on and you're not really saying anything about it. And it's kind of weird. React to more plates, more dates, crucifying the Liver King. Yeah. Every moment you spend not talking about Nick Fuentes, the moment you spend it at watching the ads at the top of the hour. God damn it. Tim literally said some people call you a white nationalist, but you're friends with a black guy that's literally defending him. Yeah, didn't he say that in the beginning? Like literally immediately, like around here somewhere where I muted him.
In contact.
No.
Not tonight.
The DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled. Like,
Yeah, by the way, at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, yeah, I got him. Yeah, well, not I got him. He got me, okay? Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I got. Shut the fuck up. I've been absolutely destroying it, too. I was destroying it today. Literally destroying it today, and I just got fucking cooked by that chatter. What an L. What a gigantic fucking L that is. Absolutely destroying it until this moment. Don't like it. Anyway. Yeah, Lausanne. There's a moment ad break now. Glad to see how far she's come from her Jimmy Neutron days of making it onto the Timcast. I don't know who this is.
Alex Jones. I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the, the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me. And here we are.
Leaked email. So that's how you guys got in contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, originally. And then I suggested that we bring in...
Bro, you're actually in more plates, more dates vid on the Liver King when you guys talked about TRT with H3. As a black woman, Kanye is an embarrassment to our community. I want to take his black card and give it to a more deserving person like you're invited to the barbecue. Okay, first of all, Kanye West does not represent the black community at all. Kanye West is just Kanye West. Like, it's nothing. Like, he is not a representative of anything. He's also very clearly disinterested in representing anything but Kanye West. And the weird part of it is that not only is he anti-black, but also he's decided to represent himself in the worst place, in the worst way possible. I don't even know what the fuck to say about it other than that. He's not doing his Kanye best. No, he is not.
Nicholas
Which was pretty funny when Tim was like, wait, you said minus 42? Is that what it is? It was pretty funny when Tim was like, yeah, it's going to be really good for the black vote. Like, no, it's not, dude. You're demonstrating you have no knowledge whatsoever.
I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties. And like, no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor, we won't say what race, and they'd be tearing down the contracts. It's all about, position. It's not about the amount of money that you have. And, to come in here, I feel like it's a setup to be like defending. I'm not going to go through another, like I'm literally going to walk the F off the show if I'm sitting up here having a, talk about, you can't say that it was Jewish people that did it when every sensible person knows that. I mean, Jon Stewart knows what happened to me and they took it too far. It was like American History X. Like my head was on the side of the curve and the exact people that I called out kicked my head. We found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
Didn't Kai only get 60K votes when he ran in 2020 in Lamau? Yeah, I don't know how many votes he ended up getting, but I know for a fact that it wasn't like I don't even know what the percentage of the votes looked like, really. And like, did they even look at? I can't believe 70,000 people actually fucking voted for him. By the way, holy
messages
shit.
from people. People are hitting me up and they're like, "You shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist." I do find the idea. I do find it funny or weird, or whatever, that Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous.
Oh my God! They fucking point to his face. He does not like that, dude. Look,
one of the wealthiest and
He's like, yeah, fuck. That's a crazy, for the record, that is a fucking, thank you for clipping that. That's what I was trying to, that is what I was trying to find here. But
was famous, but messages from people are hitting me up.
Kanye West and Michelle Tidball? What the fuck? I don't even know who the fuck Michelle Tidball is. I totally blacked out on that part. In addition, the Roque de la Fuente Kanye West ticket won 60,000 votes in California. What? Kanye West voters base varied on education levels, age, race, gender, and partisanship. Wait. I can't believe this many people voted for him, dude. That's crazy. He won the most votes in the state of Tennessee. Okay, I want to know the demographic percentage breakdown. Like, what percentage of his votes were I mean, it's got to be meme votes, right? That's crazy, dude. The Franco Games. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Philip in the chat. What's up, Philip DeFranco? Go to a Kanye concert and look at the crowd. That's the demographics. I mean, dude, it's like Aiden Ross, okay? When I think of a Kanye West voter, I think of Aiden Ross. If there's one person who is like unironically going to vote for Kanye West, it's going to be a motherfucker like Aiden Ross. That's who represents the Kanye vote, okay? No one else. That's it. So, like, that's not exactly, don't act like people can't meme a president to win. Okay, dude. You're delusional if you think memes are the reason why Donald Trump won the presidency and not fucking the Republican media infrastructure. Yeah. The GOP putting all of its efforts behind Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton's lack of likability, and it being